alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back to Geek Week with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. This is episode 171. If you're watching live, then do hit the refresh button just to catch up with us. And of course, comment along on the conversation this week. And we'll do our best to get the comments up on the screen. And if you're watching us on catch up, like a lot of you do, what is it they need to put in the chat, Mr. SuperSorrell?
Hashtag catch up crew.
There we go. Episode 171. We are nearing that 200 mark, which is quite scary.
Woo! Yeah.
Nearing that 200 mark. And I need to say very quickly as well, next week we have a special guest joining us, don't we?
Yeah. Well excited.
So we've got Mr. Steve Evans, aka Mr. Stevie 18, coming on board to talk toys and nostalgia and collectibles and all things possible. Yeah, so do tune in next week because a show with Steve is always good fun and we always have a lot of fun and it always goes off on a real tangent and we end up talking about random stuff. So yeah, no idea, no real kind of plan. We're just going to talk toys, which is good. We always try to do a theme if we haven't got a guest, and this week the theme is we wish that these franchises had their own toy line. So franchises that came out from our childhood or from our teens or from our young adult stages or even recently that we wished had a toy line that went with it. So I'm interested to hear your list, but we will get to that a little bit later because we haven't conversed, have we? We haven't told each other. Yeah,
not at all. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think I can guess where it's going to go, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. But before we get into that, we've had a lot go on this week, haven't we? It's been quite a busy week.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Right. You know what else I'm really excited about more than anything?
What's that?
I still have not pre-ordered a single Street Fighter figure, and I have found every single one of them in the wild so far. And I've actually tracked down Dalsim now.
There we go. We should have done the thing again.
Yeah, we should. I've literally got every single one, but I've bought them all from Smith's. I have not ordered any of them online. Every single one of them have come from Smith's.
Oh, right. Okay. That's cool.
So I think that's pretty cool. And Guile's next, by the way. Guile's coming out in October. He's next.
I know. I've seen him. Who was it? I think it was Beth. Beth sent me a link to the
Beth sends links to everything.
Yeah, Beth's dangerous for the wallet. But no, she sent me a link when it went up for pre-order. It's interesting because I know that Smiths have them, but like my Smiths, for example, there are like tons of the same characters, but then like, I've seen a Bison in my Smiths. I've definitely not seen a Dalsim.
I'm very lucky because I live where I live. I live literally, I'm like at the crossroads of everything. So I've got the A1, the M62, the M1. I've got everything literally on my doorstep. So there's like 3 in Leeds, 1 in Doncaster, 1 in York, 1 in Sheffield. So they're all like within a 30-mile radius. There's like 50 stores. It's insane.
That's quite lucky.
So that's why I've been doing so many toy hunts recently, and they're all in different Smiths because I go to different ones each week kind of thing to see what they've got. Because some stores put stuff out early, others don't.
Yeah, that is quite cool. I mean, I'm not as fortunate as that, but the Smiths that I've been into just haven't been that well stocked as Street Fighter. But I have noticed a massive change in Smiths as well. Like there doesn't seem to be many Hasbro products on the shelf.
From what I'm quite pally with the manager at a couple of the stores, and they've all said the same thing. They've not had deliveries from Hasbro. They just haven't had deliveries. And Mattel is pumping stuff constantly into the stores, apparently. Like they've got more Mattel stuff out back than they can put out. Whereas Hasbro is the opposite, and they're just not sending a thing.
But it's not even just Mattel, is it? Like there's a lot of other like Jada toys with the Street Fighters, like them popping up on the shelves. I mean, I only noticed
Bandai.
Bandai's got a lot. Yeah, the only reason I noticed it is because my youngest son has got into Power Rangers, like heavily into Power Rangers in the last couple of weeks. Because obviously on Netflix you've got like Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury,
Yeah.
obviously Mighty Morphin, that kind of stuff, and yeah, massively into it in a big way, which is cool because I never really got into Cosmic Fury and Dino Fury because it was kind of a bit past my time. Like I was very much Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and that was kind of where I drew the line. But it's given me an excuse to kind of sit down and watch it with him, and they're actually really quite good. Like as a dad, I can sit there and appreciate it and kind of go, "This is really cool." And it seems with those two ones in particular, they really cross over with the original Power Rangers as well. So, yeah, it's kind of like merging my Power Rangers and his Power Rangers. But to get to my point, we went to Smith's, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there's loads of Power Ranger stuff in Smith's because there used to be like tons of it." And we went in there, and there was literally a sword, and that was it. And I was like, this is awful. This is really bad. And then luckily, Game had some. So we managed to get some Power Ranger toys. And I wasn't looking for like lightning collection or anything like that, but just like your standard kind of off the shelf kind of kids action figures. But yeah, it happened to you. So we did manage to pick up a few, which is cool. And then the collector in me was don't resist eBay, you don't need the whole set, you don't need like so you're happy with the one or the two. Like, yeah.
You need to watch. Is it SPD with him? With the ones where they did all the crossovers.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure it was SPD, where randomly Bandai, not the Bandai, Saban started using the costumes of like the Masked Rider or something, and like Beetleborgs, and they started using all these random costumes as bad guys, even though they were like had their own series. And obviously the god awful crossover with the Turtles. With Venus.
I mean, at the time, I was kind of like, this is really cool. It's Power Rangers and Turtles crossing over, but it was not a good crossover. Like for an old school fan, it wasn't a good crossover. Before we get into more toy news, just a couple of quick shout outs to everyone. We've got Shelly in the chat, we've got Andrew Orr in the chat, Ezra Gantos, Todd World, Sean the Sheep, Luna Spring in the chat. Andy Roberts is there as well. Mike Nugan in the chat as well. If I've missed you, I will get to you. But yes, keep them comments coming and we will pull some up as we talk. Should we do toys before we do TV?
So, yeah, a couple of things this week were quite cool. There was a announcement from, what do they call them? The people that are doing Bike Mice from Mars. The new company, Nacelle. Nacelle announced that they have recently acquired the Star Trek license. Ooh. And they're going to be making Star Trek action figures. And the best part of the announcement, they're not going to focus on characters that have had previous releases because they understand that Super 7 have had it, Bandai have had it, and done nothing with it. We've got they always release Spock, Picard, Worf, Data. You get the same group of generation characters and original series characters and nothing else. They are going to focus on the more modern franchises of Star Trek, and they're going to do uniforms and characters that have never been produced before. So they're going in at a completely different angle. So I'm quite excited by that.
Nice. That is really cool. Especially
if they're going to focus on like the newer stuff that's on Netflix and Prime and stuff like that, because some of them series have been decent.
I'm surprised talking about kind of it kind of ties in with our theme, but this has had a toy line. But Doctor Who, I'm surprised that no one's picked up Doctor Who since who was it that had it with all the kind of 5-inch figures?
Oh God, so many companies have had it at this point. Character PLC were the distributors for it, but I don't know who made it. I think it might have been Bandai.
Yeah, but they pumped out loads, didn't they? Like the 5-inch action figures. But I'm surprised that one of the bigger toy companies hasn't picked up on it because, like your bigger kind of 1/6 scale figures, like your Hot Toys and the third parties and stuff, they've released versions of the Doctors, and I've seen some people with different Doctors. So, like, the fan base is out there, and it's definitely a franchise that's had a toy line, but could do with kind of somebody really big taking the wheel on it.
Yeah, it's the thing is when that suffers from the same sort of thing as what they do with Star Trek. Somebody will get the toy line, and then they'll make the same they'll make all the Doctors, and then they'll make a couple of Daleks, and then a Cyberman, and then that'll be the end of the toy line because they've run out of ideas.
Because the people that want to buy it have already got them on their shelves. They want the rest of the characters. They want the side characters, the one-off.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine a 6-inch line for for 4 Doctor Who, and and each wave focuses on a different era. So imagine you've got like the David Tennant Doctor, a TARDIS, and then like Billy Piper and a couple of the villains and a couple of the heroes in every wave. Yeah. That would sell massively.
That'd be wicked. John Hood in the chat said that character options has Doctor Who.
Yeah, Character PLC. I've got it here. They did put some stuff out at Toy Fair last year, but I've not even seen them come to shelves yet. But they showed them off in like January of this year.
Yeah, it is a weird one. But yeah, I mean, Doctor Who. I mean, it's not the kind of 1/6 scale figure that I'd like. I don't like Doctor Who enough to have a 1/6 scale figure of. But yeah, there's some cool characters out there. Definitely some good kind of creature designs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, this toy caught my eye this week, though. Normally, I'm not a fan of repaints, and I think the Joker Eyes line is ridiculous. But actually, on Harley Quinn, kind of works.
Looks like she looks a little bit like, like on fighting games when you get like the alternate
player 2 option.
When you fight the same character, and then that's what it looks like to me. But that's not, the purple and green work well on Harley.
That kind of color scheme, because it's kind of vibrant and bright, it does kind of match the animated look for that Harley Quinn, so it doesn't look that bad. And if you imagine standing her next to a Joker as well, like an animated Joker, it'd look pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
They recently, I was thinking about. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I recently, because they're going to do the Batmobile in the Jokerized colors as well. And it's like the Adam West Batmobile in like Jokerized colors. And I said, if you get that Harley Quinn and put that in that Joker mobile, it would look amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I was excited for that one. I thought that looked pretty cool.
I like the base as well. The base was like a pack of cards. That looked cool.
Very cool. Really cool. Now, here's one that got me quite excited as well. I can't lie. This was really good. So obviously the hype is out right now. Beetlejuice is in cinemas. Everyone's loving it. It did well at the cinema. It's like one of the highest grossing films of the year, apparently. Well, SH Figure Arts are jumping on board and they're going to give us a Beetlejuice. This is exciting because NECA have announced a bunch of Beetlejuice stuff, but a lot of it is re-release, and then a bunch of it is just not good. This is going to be a fully articulated, proper Beetlejuice based on the new Beetlejuice.
That's cool.
And he looks awesome.
Hot Toys have done a Beetlejuice as well. And that's what's like spurred the argument. We were talking about it last week, weren't we, about his boots and stuff. But he's just one that I think works really well in kind of 1/6 scale where it's like soft goods. Because like you look at the trousers on that. Is that on the thing? Like it's a beautiful looking figure, but then you put him in a kind of an iconic pose and you're seeing all the ball joints and everything like that. Whereas when you get it in a full kind of suit, you can have him in all those poses without trying to hide I think the big difference for me is things like the shirt there. You can see the ab crunch, and you kind of, it works on kind of superhero characters, but then when you've got like a shirt, it kind of breaks the illusion for me. But the sculpt on this head sculpt is
brilliant.
Nice. Well,
I was just thinking it's annoying that it's SH Figure Arts, because it means it's going to be like 5.5 inches just shy of 6. So he's going to be a little bit short with my Universal Monsters, which is dead annoying, because you kind of want him to fit in with the monster like characters.
But he's one that would potentially work, I think, scale wise.
He would work with the Jada toys, I think. The Jada toys will probably look good with him. You know, the Jada toys monsters?
Yeah. They'd
probably look good with him. But yeah, it was just one of those characters where I instantly was like, yeah, I'm buying that. And show me the pre-order, because I will pre-order that one.
Andy Roberts said, I've pre-ordered the Hot Toys Beetlejuice.
A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are going for the Hot Toys one.
I didn't. I bit my tongue on it. I was tempted. I was tempted, but there was some other figures out there that I'd rather have had before Beetlejuice. I seem to be going down a bit of a path at the moment of kind of getting characters that represent various different parts of growing up, if that makes sense. So like films and franchises and stuff that I enjoyed, and it's kind of mixed my collection up a little bit. So you can just see it off. I've got Neo up there, which obviously doesn't fit in with any of my other kind of hot toys, but it works. And obviously I've got Superman as well. I've got Power Ranger on the way. I've obviously got the Guyver as well. But yeah, so it's kind of doing that. So Beetlejuice was kind of on my list, and I was like, oh, does Beetlejuice fit in? Do I? But then I kind of flipped a coin, and it was either David from Lost Boys or Beetlejuice, and Lost Boys win hands down for me every time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lost Boys would win for me if I could afford that one. I would love that figure, but it goes well out of my price range.
It is a pricey figure. But I've said, right, the hot toys, like, and the hot toy style figures, it is a big jump from kind of buying your 6-inch and your 8-inch figures. But honestly, once you've got one of something that you love, there is no comparison. Like there is no comparison. Like not a single one of my 6-inch Iron Man figures compared to my 12-inch Iron Man. Like they don't even hold a torch to it. Like, but yeah. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But yes, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. There's been another wave of the random Ben Cooper costume kids by NECA.
Yeah.
There's been another little wave of those bad boys listed up for announcement.
What, after the modern ones?
Yeah. So they've now done Thanksgiving and Sam. Have we looked at those yet?
No, were they in the first? Who was in the first wave? Was Chucky in the first wave?
Yeah, so they did a wave recently with like Chucky and Predator and Alien, and for some reason my computer is not allowing me to share. It's doing my head in.
Never mind.
Click your damn thing. There we go.
We haven't seen we haven't seen the Thanksgiving one.
I don't think we had. So yeah, this is the newest wave of them, and in this wave we are getting we're getting Thanksgiving, Sam, Nosferatu, Krampus, and I forgot his name from House Thousand Corpses. Who?
Is it Terrifier? No.
It's House Thousand Corpses. Spalding from House of Thousand Corpses. My God, that racked my head then.
But you know what they've done with him there, or actually they've done it with all of these, is they've put them in matching costumes. Like that's a Halloween costume of that character.
Yeah.
And they didn't in the first wave, did they? They were just essentially kids with masks, with a t-shirt.
Basically, yeah, they had a t-shirt that represented it. Whereas this time around, they've kind of gone a bit more all out. I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely going to get the Sam. But the annoying thing is, again, in the UK, you have to get these as a full set. They're not selling them individually. Whereas if you go to Walmart, they're all on the shelf individually.
Mate, have you not
that
got
annoys the crap out of me.
Are they in Walmart now?
Yeah, they're readily available in Walmart right now. I picked up a couple that I've still got to share from my trip over. I managed to get like Dracula and a couple of the kids, but I didn't want all of them. That's the thing. I don't want every single one. Like I'd probably skip Nosferatu and Krampus in that wave. I'd really want the Sam to go with the rest of my Sam collection. So it's like
send me a picture.
Yeah,
they're
really cool.
I might know someone in Florida at the minute.
Well, I know someone that's going to Florida in, I think it's November. She's in the chat, and
I could have it for you before then. Just send me a picture. Send me a picture of what it looks like on the shelf.
Okay.
Oh.
Then we had M. Bison in the Player 2 style. This is being announced as the Big Bad Toy Store 25th anniversary exclusive. I know. Big Bad Toy Store apparently has been around 25 years.
I love this line. I really do love this line, as you can tell from the unopened boxes behind me. But the Player 2 options don't do it for me.
No, they don't do it for me. I'm not that bothered for them.
Like, I'm really not. Like, I get it from a business point of view. They've got the molds, they've got the packaging. It's a simple repaint, but it's a justified repaint because it is a version of the character that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't do it for me.
No, they don't do it for me either. And I'm not gonna spend ages on it because it's just one of them things. But it's all right. It's not my favorite. But I'll tell you what,
there wasn't a single player 2 costume, with the exception of maybe Blanca, that I preferred to the player 1 version.
So the only two that I think work is obviously the like Ken and Ryu, because they obviously had their like player 2 costumes, but they were like their evil alternatives, weren't they?
Yeah,
Like evil Ryu and evil Ken.
I just like the reverse colors of Blanca. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, Blanca's cool.
Blanca, so. This is cool though.
I don't know, I wasn't sold on this.
Was you not? What? With
no,
your
and it's, I know.
Obsession?
I know. So
really
it's Frankenstein. Yeah, it's Frankenstein. He does look awesome. I can't lie. He does look very cool. But the annoying thing is, right, Figure Obscura, the Four Horsemen Studios, had an opportunity to do something different, right? They were basing it on the books, not on the Universal Monsters film that NECA have been producing. And the figure does look pretty cool. However, right, if we go and look at the accessories that have been included in this, it's more or less the exact same slab and shackles that NECA have given us. More or less the exact same, right? No difference. The accessories that they've given us, are like we've got a book which we've had 1,000 times from other manufacturers. They've given us a skull which we've had no end of times, right? And that lab equipment is more or less all the same that came with the NECA Turtles for the Leonardo. So
really?
all of this has kind of just been. It feels like a reproduce of what we've already had. They had an opportunity to do something different, and I just don't think they went different enough for me. But a lot of people probably disagree with me, but
the reason I would not disagree as such, but the reason why it grabbed my attention was because I'm not a big NECA collector anymore. I haven't collected NECA for a long time, with the exception of the Turtles. But none of this kind of, I didn't look at it the same as you and go, oh, that's from that one and that's from that one. So seeing it as a whole package, I was like, that's a really cool Frankenstein setup. And seeing some of the like some of the pictures that you just showed, like the one of him on the table, like with the jacket off and the bald head and stuff, like it just looked epic. And like the figure photography for this are brilliant. Like it really is brilliant. Like that picture there,
it's amazing.
Like stunning.
They do
head there in the jar as well. That's really cool.
Yeah, so they do very well with, because they send out the figure early in secret to certain people who then do the action figure photography for them, and they send them out to, I forgot the guy's name, but he's a creator, he's a YouTuber, and he always has the toy review ready to go. So when the figure launches, his review's online and everybody goes by his views. He's very well thought of in the community, and they're very good at using the community to their advantage, to be honest.
This setup, though, if you look at it, is very similar to the Jacob Marley setup.
Exactly the same. Yeah. It's the clock in the background is from the last Figure Obscura, and the fireplace in the background and to the left is from the Jacob Marley fold out. It's very good though. It's very good.
But it all works together really well, and I love the way that they've used the glass jars with the alternate heads and the skull and stuff. Like that's a really nice touch to the setup. But like that would be a really good display piece. Like,
no doubt. But I tell you what has got me excited. If they're jumping down this rabbit hole, this is obviously based on the books because they're not allowed to touch the movies. It's based on the books because that is completely freeware. That's in the public domain. If they're doing Frankenstein, I'm hoping that means next Halloween we might see a Dracula or a Phantom of the Opera from the books. That gets me excited. A book accurate Dracula. So in the books, Dracula, when he first meets Jonathan Harker, is described as having long white hair and is an old man, like the old man Dracula. So I'm hoping we get that version because everyone does the suave later on, suave Dracula. How cool would it be to have the monster Dracula?
Hasbro didn't. Hasbro did the superhero Dracula.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Were you not a fan of that? Was that not a staple Dracula for you? No. We need that. We need the old school white hair. Yeah, that's what we need. That is what we need. That would be the Dracula that we need for. Like, I would even pick that one up. But again, it's another character that works really well with 1/6 scale. Like there are some really good Draculas out there. But
so you were saying about Beetlejuice and that you think cloth works better.
Yep.
Well, Mezco to the rescue.
Yeah.
Mezco are making Beetlejuice.
That to me is a better looking figure. Like,
Look
and
at
I know
all the
there are
heads.
yeah, but I know there are people that don't like cloth goods or soft goods. But you know what? I kind of used to be in that camp as well. When I just collect Black Series and collected Marvel Legends, I hated the Black Series soft goods. Like, I hated it. It really got on my nerves. I was like, why don't they give us a plastic cape or a plastic robe or whatever? But there are certain franchises that they work well with and they don't work well with. Beetlejuice, there is no denying that this Beetlejuice here, the Mezco version, doesn't look better than the one that we saw earlier.
Apparently,
go on.
Let me go. I've been dying to go for the last 2 minutes. Let me go. I tell you who doesn't like cloth goods. Apparently, Dan Who doesn't like cloth goods. Apparently that vinyl thing you put together. You know, when you use the vinyl costume.
Oh, this one.
Well, apparently that's Britney Spears. So
no, I mean, you know what? To his credit, it did look like Britney Spears in the kind of halfway video, because it was just black boots and the red jumpsuit. So it did look like Britney Spears, and I kind of made a point that it does look like Britney Spears. But no, I like my Daredevil. I don't. I like it.
Cool. That was the fact that I managed to tune into his stream just as he was talking about that amused me no end. Just as I tuned in, and all of a sudden he starts talking about Jacob's toys. I was like, hey, what's going on here?
You know what? I'm not even mad. Like, people don't like soft goods. I really hated them when I was a Black Series collector. I hated them, and I was kind of like, I don't want soft goods on my figures. But when you're buying action figures like Hot Toys that are costing kind of £300, £400, £500, I don't want it all to be made of plastic. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a different tier of. It's a totally different ball game. I think when Marvel Legends put soft goods on them, I hate them. I absolutely hate it. Like the Doctor Doom with the little like soft goods collar, I hated it. It was like, it feels like you're skipping, you know what I mean? Like you're taking an easy way out. But pulling it back to this Beetlejuice, you can't tell me that this Beetlejuice doesn't look better than the other one. Like if I had to pick one, it would be this one, hands down.
Oh yeah, this one looks amazing. It just, for me, it's going to be the wrong scale for my collection. But no, it does look awesome. And it will be definitely worth the, it'll be about 60, 70 quid, but it will be worth it because the amount of heads and arms and hands, the tombstone lights up. They've even gone ahead and given us that head sculpt with the, the carousel going around and the elongated arms and stuff.
But you know
the fact that they've included that.
All of these Beetlejuice figures, right, is that they've all released Beetlejuice. So Hot Toys, Mezco, like they're all jumping on the Beetlejuice thing. But all of the figures look to be more based on the original movie as opposed to the new movie.
So this one is Beetlejuice 88. So this is the original movie. This is the original Beetlejuice. The one that we looked at from the last company was a Beetlejuice 2024. So they've all got different.
Okay.
Yeah, they have all got different licenses.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is weird.
But I think I'd want an 84. Like if I was going to get a Beetlejuice, I'd want the original one. You know.
Oh, definitely. Mate, this got me excited because we know that Guile is coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Sorry, my computer being funny. There we go. Guile's coming out, but Cammy's also now been listed.
Yeah, Cammy looks good.
Cammy does look good, and she's not alone. She's bringing DJ with her.
I was going to say we've got DJ as well, so that's two. So that's three more to add to the collection that we've got already.
November for these two.
When is Blanca coming, and when is Oh, I've gone blank.
Zangief, Honda,
no,
Vega.
When is Vega and when is Blanca? When are they coming? Like they
no
were
idea.
Two of my favorites, but that's unnecessary. Why?
No, that's unnecessary.
That's what I'm saying. What is the point in that? Is it like, okay, put it on the figure because it's accurate to the game, but you don't have to show it. Like, come on, who are you aiming this at? Who are you aiming this? No, naughty Jada Toys. No, she's cool looking though. I like it. I like Cammy. Cammy's cool, and it's cool to have another girl in the line as well because obviously we've got 6 in hand already, 7th on the way, 8th with DJ, 9th with Cammy, but that's only two female characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that they've got some more girls in there.
Yeah, it's good, and you know, the fact that because we know from the last Comic-Con, we already know that they've produced all the figures; they're all done. Jada Toys have 100% manufactured every figure. They're just slowly rolling them out now because they were all on display together. So they weren't prototypes; they were like official figures because they all had boxes and stuff. So we know that every single figure on the back of this box is being produced because they have them all on display. So I'm still excited for Sagat and Blanca. Yeah, Blanca's definitely, but Zangief's the one I'm dying for.
Yeah, Zangief would be cool. Zangief would be cool. Before
What
we
I'd
get
love
on
to know is, I was going to say, just quickly, what I was going to say was, I know it's a complete nostalgia hit, but do you think Jada Toys, once they've done this line, because I don't think the modern figures would sell, I would love to know if they reckon they might go down the route of doing the live action Street Fighter figures.
Yeah,
because their likenesses aren't going to be that much to get now. Like Ming Na Wen has given a license loads of times. Jean-Claude Van Damme's given his license to NECA recently. They're not going to be hard to get hold of those actors now at this point. Kylie Minogue hasn't done much recently. So I can see them all happily handing over their likenesses.
I think I'd probably jump on it. I was
Because I'm
just
surprised. I'm really surprised with the success. Sorry, I keep cutting you off today because there's a delay. I think.
You're excited.
With the nostalgia of like Mario coming back and stuff, I'm honestly surprised nobody jumped on the Bob Hoskins Mario re-releases and re-release a bunch of figures from the movie again. Because to a modern audience, they would sell because of the nostalgia now. It was horrible at the time, but you look back now with like nostalgia eyes, don't you?
It was awful. But yeah, I'd probably jump on a Mario and Luigi in the big jumping boots. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, what I would like is I'd like to see a Mortal Kombat line in the same vein as Jada Toys Street Fighter. Like the slightly cartoony, slightly like animated, because obviously the Mortal Kombat figures that we've had with other companies are very not hyper realistic, but they're higher tier figure, aren't they? Whereas these are more your kind of your standard 20-25 pound figure. But to get like a Sub-Zero or Scorpion or a Raiden or something like in this style would be awesome. Would be really
even if they just jumped on Mortal Kombat 1 and just gave us the core like 6, that would be amazing. And do the same thing, like do it as an arcade cabinet, and on the back you've got the tower with all the faces on it.
That'd be incredible. It'd be incredible if Jada Toys could get the Mortal Kombat license for even just those 6 characters and put them out in the same vein. They would. I don't think there's a single collector of the Street Fighter ones that wouldn't jump on that to have them next to it.
I'm just thinking because that would then give us Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Kano. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Kano, and then that's the 6.
Oh, no,
Liu Kang 7.
Liu Kang, yeah.
Liu Kang 7, and then maybe Shang Tsung and Goro as like the hidden characters.
Goro would have to be in there, wouldn't they? But Goro would be like a bigger action figure, so it'd be like it wouldn't necessarily be in the same. It'd be like a Comic-Con exclusive or something.
Yeah, I just remember Goro from the movie. Just ridiculous.
We do need to talk very quickly before we get onto our theme of the week. We need to talk about Agatha very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm really annoyed that it's been review bombed on IMDb with all the 1-star reviews. I just don't see the point. Like, what if you don't enjoy it? Don't review it. Like, what's the point?
I don't understand why it's getting hate though.
No, I don't.
I don't understand. Full stop. I think it's. I'm loving it.
For me, this feels like a direct sequel to WandaVision. And I loved WandaVision. Most of us loved WandaVision. And this just feels like a direct sequel. It feels like a continuation of that. You know, we last saw her being left, but that she had the spell put on her. She was trapped in Westview. And now we've picked up where that left off. And you've got reoccurring characters and all sorts. I don't understand the hate. I really don't.
No, and just to touch on this week's episode, I mean, it went real dark at points in this week's one.
Yeah.
They literally name dropped a certain demon we're all waiting for.
Yeah, I'm here again. My camera's dropped out. Yeah, Mephisto.
Mephisto, yeah, they name drop Mephisto in this one. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. If that's going to be something they're going to pursue.
Sacha Baron Cohen has been cast. Like, we could get.
If he appears in this series, that if at the end of the Witcher's Road or something, that will be amazing.
What I am curious about though is in the trailer you saw a lot of horror aspects, like what looked to be like monsters and stuff like that. And are they just going to be part of the trials as they go along? But we've not seen anything as dark as that yet. So I think that every episode is just going to get darker and darker. I think they're going to really push the boundary. And I think following the success of like an R-rated movie being so successful like Deadpool, I don't think they'll be as afraid to push the boundaries.
Yeah, and so it looks like let me just get up the thing because I did look at this yesterday. I just need to get the notes up. Agatha all along. Because basically we've got each episode is a different trial, right?
Yeah.
The first episode was Seeketh Thou Road, and then Fates Collide, and then the third one, which we just saw, was Through Many Miles, Tricks and Trials, and that showed off the first trial, which was for the potions witch, basically. Then episode 4 surely is going to be a trial for one of the other witches.
Yeah, that's how I think it. And then it's gonna the end of it will be for Agatha. It'll be hers. Will be like the main last kind of trial, won't it?
Because that will give us. So how many there was? So there's that was the I forgot her name, Jessica thingy's trial. Then we've got Mrs. Hart. Then you've got Agatha. You've got the other lady that's missing her mum.
Maybe not Mrs. Hart though, or Sharon, as she likes to be called.
Sharon. Yeah, and then you've got the woman that's missing her mum. And then you've got the kid, and then that will give us 2 episodes for a finale. I think that's definitely how it goes. There's enough episodes there, one for each of the characters' trials, and then a 2-episode season finale. Because they both of the last 2 episodes both air on October 30th, so they're going to be. That's going to be that's going to be a double parter. So basically, every episode each week is going to be a trial for a different character.
Okay, that works. I like it.
Agatha's is probably going to be on episode 7 before we go into the season finale, more than likely.
Yeah. For everyone, if you do want a spoiler, Shelley just said in the chat, Funko spoiled who the kid is. I haven't seen this. I haven't looked at Funko's. Sorrel is now Googling. I didn't see this. I didn't see who. I mean, we've all got a good idea.
Yeah, but come on. We all knew who was that anyway. That's not a spoiler. That's just comic books.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm loving it, to be honest with you. It's good, and it is what it should be. It should just be kind of easy to watch, easy to enjoy. It doesn't need to be like this big kind of lead into something else, or what's this going to open up. It's like it's one of the first Marvel shows that I've watched in a while where I'm not watching it thinking where it's going afterwards. I'm just watching it and enjoying it.
Can I put something on screen? Would you mind? Obviously, it's going to give away spoilers, but can I put something on screen?
Yeah, why not? We like spoilers every now and again.
So, Funko have shared this anyway. Shelley's already brought my attention to it, and there's something else on the back of this box I'm more excited about.
Is it Mephisto?
So obviously, we've kind of spoke about the kid anyway. We kind of knew that kid was going to be Wiccan. Come on, that straight up comic book lore. But however, there is another character on the back of there next to Agatha.
Death.
Lady Death. That's a woman. So
Thanos' love interest in the comic books.
Potentially, but I think that looks like Mrs. Hart. Mrs. Hart's just died. If she comes back as Lady Death, that would be amazing.
Wow, that would be a good one.
If she somehow comes back in the cosmic universe as Lady Death, that would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
Or maybe it's the girl from the first episode who's trying to hunt Agatha down. Maybe that is literally Lady Death.
Possibly.
As well. I don't know. It could be her, couldn't it? But possibly. I don't know. That for some reason, I think there's more to the Mrs. Hart thing.
Oh, massively. I don't think she's dead without. I don't think they just brought her a lot. Like, she was a non-witch. I don't think that she was able to get on the road without there being more to it. you know,
Yeah.
she needed to have something to be there anyway. That makes sense.
And
So I think
if
that
they
there's more to
need,
that story.
yeah, if they need each of the witches, like they did in this week's episode, they needed Jessica to do all the, to do the potion stuff.
Yeah.
They obviously needed Mrs. Hart because she's the green, she's the witch,
Green witch.
botanist, the green witch.
Yeah.
So she's now dead, or we think she's dead, or she's something's happened to her. If she can't be there to help with the trial and she's not really knows she's a witch or whatever, that's going to be interesting to how they get out of that one.
Now you know what
Or is that where Wiccan steps up? Is that where Wiccan
Yeah,
steps up and sort of like shows his powers?
I think it's probably going to be more that. I think that it's kind of old school television storytelling, and they're all making a big thing out of how sweet she is and how innocent she is, and how she shouldn't be there. And I think she's going to be a bigger player in the big scheme of things, kind of hiding behind, because they're all hiding, aren't they? They're all hiding behind something, and they're not in their true selves. Hence why they're on the witch's road. And I think that she has got something that she's not sharing.
Yeah.
And you know, I think if this was WandaVision, everyone would be calling her Mephisto. That's it is. Okay, she's Mephisto. Do you know what I mean? I think, but it's on that level. I think that there's something more to it.
100%.
I just caught in the back my Ghost Rider figures. Did you see that Dan from the Hasbro team shared a really cryptic thing earlier? It was today, I think, saying.
Oh no, it's in that one. I thought you were going to mention the Mephisto thing that he shared.
No. He shared a Mephisto, didn't he? But it was Diamond Select one, wasn't it? But no, I think he commented on it and everyone jumped on the bandwagon with it. But no, he shared something and it was a really cryptic kind of post about what toy fair is coming up.
New York is next.
New York Toy Fair, and he said, save some bread for New York Toy Fair because there's a chance to get something that's been previously missed or something like that. And everyone jumped on it saying Robbie Reyes figure, because obviously they produced the Robbie Reyes figure for the Hell Charger, but it never went to fruition. So there's a lot of speculation about Robbie Reyes turning up at New York Comic Con, which I wouldn't even be mad about.
No, definitely. Also, if I'm just going to pull up the details again, the figures that were mentioned with the HasLab, you know, the tiers, for the Hell Charger. We've had 2 of them now, haven't we? All we're missing is Mephisto,
Goblin Queen, and Damien. We've had those.
They both came out.
Yep.
So
in the X-Men 97 wave and the Strange Tales wave. The only other one was Robbie Reyes and Mephisto.
So I think them 2 are going to come out. I definitely 100% think they're coming.
2-pack.
That would be awesome if they do a 2-pack of them 2. But I doubt it would be a 2-pack. But it would be cool if it was. But I've got a feeling that like I've said all along, I think Mephisto would be the perfect deluxe figure for the Stranger Tales wave. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
That's where he comes from, and obviously his son is in that line.
I mean, that could be the hint that he's mentioning about something coming up that's previously been missed. And they bypass Robbie Reyes, because in all fairness, having a Robbie Reyes figure when you know full well you're not going to be producing the car to go with him is like producing a Johnny without a bike. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it'll be cool to have on the shelves, but you're missing a big part of what makes that character. Whereas Mephisto, it's, you know, and I think with the recent release of things like the Let There Be Carnage figure, it's almost an ideal kind of not completely repaint, but a good starting block for a figure like Mephisto.
Yeah, 100%. But I think they're going to cash in on the fact that Ramen Charger came out, the Ramen figure came out, because they already know a lot of people already have that, so they can just produce the figure of Robbie now and then go, everyone's already got the Charger.
Yeah. But saying that, there was only something like 2,500 orders of that Charger. So that's only 2,500 people that, like, it's a big gamble. It's a big gamble for a small market. But I don't know. I think either of those figures would sell. I mean, I'd pick them both up. They're 2 figures I'd definitely pick up. I think we need to get onto our theme because we've got about 45 minutes left.
Okie dokie. I was just going to touch on that in Agatha as well. One thing that caught my attention was the fact that they're still sticking with the thing that they did in WandaVision. You know, where they do a different theme each episode based on a different era or a different thing. So, like the first ever episode was kind of her being a detective. It was kind of like a CSI kind of thing. Then this episode was like your Desperate Housewives. The big luxury mansions, the wine drinking, the women frolicking. So that kind of felt like that kind of a thing. So I'm wondering where they're going to go next, and whether we're going to have like a Big Bang Theory style, or like a Friends, or a ER even. You know what I mean? Like go down those classic routes of sitcom television.
You know, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm very excited for the next episode, though. That's definitely a definite thing. So this
And
week's theme.
Did you love the fact that? Oh, sorry. I was going. Did you love the fact that they also climbed in an oven at the end of the episode? May I just point that out?
No, my favourite bit was when the witch said that I had a friend that did that once, and she had a lovely house, and I was like, "You really talking about Hansel and Gretel? Like, is that really a nod there?" I thought that's my favourite thing about this show, like all those little cheesy nods to other
witch nods.
Other things. Yeah, but climbing in the oven was brilliant. It was, but the fact that they referenced that just in case you were too kind of out of touch to realize where that reference came from. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
They just say as well, at Disney, they had a priest on set blessing the set every single day. Do you know that?
Did they?
Yep. Because in that studio where they're filming Agatha all along, they were also filming Hocus Pocus 3. So they literally had witches all over that building, and they were literally blessing it every morning with a priest, apparently, in California.
Wow. Well, better safe than sorry, you know. It's like
it's one of those things that, like them Hollywood like superstitions, because they were using like witches' incantations, and Disney were filming 2 witch projects next door to each other, so they felt the need to cleanse.
No, better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Yes. So our theme this week, franchises that we wished had their own toy line. So basically, the idea of this is TV, movies, all that kind of stuff that we didn't get a toy line for, that we basically wish that we did.
Yep.
And I've done a little bit of research, and I think you might be surprised by one of your picks.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off though. I'll kick off with the first one. So the first one for me is a very obvious one, and it's not the Guyver. But it's Spaceballs, the 1987 movie Spaceballs, the parody movie of Star Wars. And the reason why we didn't get toys for this, you're probably aware of this, but Lucas basically said that they were allowed to make the film as long as there was no merchandise that was made for it.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so that's, if you look it up, it's basically like Lucas said that Brooks could go ahead and make the film, but as long as there weren't like action figures of it and stuff, because obviously it would be not direct competition to Star Wars, but essentially you can imagine they would rip off the Star Wars toys and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we didn't get any merchandise for it, because it was part of the condition. But it was one of them kind of films that kind of came out in the late 80s that was popular throughout the 90s, that kind of everyone liked because they were familiar with the Star Wars franchises and the Star Wars kind of genre. And there were just some really cool characters in it. There were just some really cool, like, you know, that I think would have been cool. I think I'm saying now more as a collector, that would have been cool to be able to collect them and put them alongside certain Star Wars characters. But yeah, for me, the first one would be Spaceballs. And if you haven't seen Spaceballs, anyone that's watching, I'd be very surprised if you haven't. But if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. Rick Moranis at his best.
I cannot believe that. I know some of the things I've chosen. By the way, when I say a toy line, I mean a toy line that came out at the time of the film's release, right? Okay. Not like 30 years later they've now decided to make a load of Beetlejuice stuff. So a toy line, like a film that came out for me that I cannot believe took the nearly 30 years to get toys for it. Hocus Pocus. Yeah. When that came out, I can't believe Barbie or someone didn't get a license to make dolls.
No.
It's insane how long it took to get for Disney to license that movie, especially on its popularity.
Yeah, and the thing is as well with toy lines is that it's not always just the demographic of like children or collectors. Like if a franchise or a movie is very popular, you'll get people buying things as a representation of their enjoyment of that film. And I think Hocus Pocus is one of them ones that I think that a lot of people that weren't necessarily action figure collectors would have the action figures as their representation of love for that movie. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, and 100%. This is the one of those things where, like, when I was looking it up, obviously I found out more information, and look what is coming out this October now. Now that we mention it, which I think is amazing. Monster High, Monster High are doing the dolls. So yeah, Monster High are making
That
Hocus
hair,
Pocus dolls.
that's
Well,
cool. That
I
is,
have to laugh because basically the Sarah doll, Sarah Jessica Parker, is basically Tiffany repainted.
is it really?
It's the Tiffany Valentine face, just repainted.
Wow.
Yeah, they are reused, but I don't care. It's the fact that they're finally giving us Hocus Pocus dolls. I'm all over it. I'm having them.
Yeah.
Disney
cool.
did give us some the other year, but they wanted like 200 quid a doll, and I was just not doing it.
That's a lot. That is a lot. All right, my next pick. I've got quite a few here.
Me too.
I'll throw it out there now because it's probably one of my top picks, but I'll put it out there now because we all know it's coming. But it's the Guyver films. 1991, we had the original Guyver, aka Mutronics, and 1994 we had Guyver Dark Hero, and there was so much potential there because essentially you've got your main Guyver character, like your good guy, and then you've got all these kind of Mutronics from Kronos, which are like basically like humanoid monsters, like just really easy to do and would have just sold. And when you look at the toy lines that we did have, things like Terminator 2 and RoboCop and Aliens, like it would have just fit in with that kind of time period. And I'm just really surprised because there's a lot of possibility because there's other sort of parts of the franchise like the animes and the all that side of it. There's a bigger lore than just the movies. So there's different Guyver units, for example, and you can get these as SH figure art figures, but there's different colored Guyvers, there's different sizes, all this kind of stuff. So they could have really run with it and given us a big toy line, and I think it would have sold. But I'm just really shocked that they haven't given us it. And even now, all these years later, we're still looking at kind of third-party companies creating the stuff like Bio Boosted UK, like being able to create the collectibles. Just really surprised that there's not. And I've looked into it to see if there's any kind of licensing or anything, but I can't find anything about it. But I was just shocked. So there we go. Guyver's out the way, everyone. I won't talk about Guyver again today.
My next pick was Roger Rabbit.
Oh, good shout.
Again, a film that had so much success in its day, and obviously they would struggle to do licensed characters, but there's no reason why they couldn't do Jessica, Roger, the what's called Doom, Judge Doom, and the Weasels as an action figure line. That would sell like wildfire. Super 7 did reaction figures about 5 years ago, and they just didn't follow up the line. They didn't do anything with them. They kind of made a couple of Weasels and a Roger, and that were it.
That's random.
But if they made like the Super 7 style or the like the proper action figure style for the Weasels, especially, they would sell like wildfire.
But even like if we go back to the kind of year of release, and they gave us like proper toys, like toys of that film, they would have sold because there were a lot of kids that watched that film that probably shouldn't have because it was a cartoon. A lot of parents let their kids watch it. And yeah, the toys would have sold. Definitely would have sold. But yeah,
100%.
Oh, good shout. Okay, my next one, 1985, The Goonies.
Yeah.
Why are there no Goonie toys? Like,
no, I know.
I know that they're essentially like, the main characters are just children. But as a kid, I would have eaten that up. I would have collected the Goonies and then like Sloth, and then you could. It's the kind of line that's similar to the Kenner Ghostbusters. They could have just created characters that the Goonies came across. Like you would have like the, pirates, and then you could kind of go down a very Scooby-Doo kind of road and just put anything in a box with the Goonies, and it would go with your Goonie action figures or your playset or whatever. Like, really shocked. It was one of them films that, as a kid watching it, because of being a similar age to the kids in it, I was kind of like, you know what, I would have eaten that up as a kid. I would have absolutely eaten that up.
You
Shelley
know, like
said
when.
the Lego Goonies pirate ship set coming. Yes, it is
Oh
coming.
wow!
It's not 1985, 1984.
Yeah.
Like, we needed it then. We needed it back in the day. But that would be a good Lego set to have.
Yeah, you know, like when Hasbro ran out of Star Wars, or Kenner, sorry, ran out of Star Wars, and they made up their own like idea, didn't they? Their own thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one like thought of doing like the Further Adventures of the Goonies or something, and just do like make up a load of different things.
But the thing is, if we go back to the kind of 80s, 90s mentality of action figures, you wouldn't even have to create backstories. Like, think about the Kenner Batman figures and all the different suits we got. Basically, they put an air tank on his back and called him Scuba Batman, and we had never seen a Scuba Batman in the movies or whatever. But with the Goonies, they could have literally put, like I said, similar to the Kenner Ghostbusters, just put any kind of Scooby-Doo-esque villains in a box, labeled up the Goonies, and you'd just be building to that imaginative can't even say it. Imagine okay, imaginative. There we go. I was like, why can't I get my words out? Imaginative play. Because I would have bought it. I would have had it. Like, people at Christmas. Oh, I got you the Goonies Frankenstein. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. Let me get my figures out. And, oh, there's chasing Frankenstein. It could have been done. Massively missed opportunity.
Again, this is like a mashup one, but I know there's been certain toys released for these, but there's never been like a proper cohesive action figure or toy line for the Hanna-Barbera collection. So like Jetsons, Flintstones, Scooby-Doo. There's always been like drips and drabs of like static little figures and things like that, but there's never been like a cohesive proper effort to produce like a line that all matches for like Flintstones and Jetsons and
you kind of want a main toy company to get it and just be drip feeding those characters through.
Like Dick Dastardly and Muttley, like as an action figure set with a car back in the 90s. Oh, come on. I'd have been all over that.
Well, stop the pigeon. Stop the
catch
pigeon.
The pigeon. Catch the pigeon.
Stop, or is it catch?
I always sung catch the pigeon. Catch the pigeon.
Catch. But I got told
catch
it was
the pigeon now.
I don't know. If anyone in the comments knows what the actual tune was, I actually think it was something else. I think I read somewhere. I'm Googling it now.
Catch the pigeon.
No, it's Stop the Pigeon.
It's Stop the Pigeon. Yeah, it's Stop that pigeon.
Stop the Pigeon. But everyone used to sing Catch the Pigeon.
Catch the pigeon. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. It's Stop the Pigeon. There you go. You live, you learn. You live, you learn. No, but you are right. You are right. And it's, as a kid, they were the things that we were watching. They were the cartoons that we were watching. Your Scooby-Doos, your Stop the Pigeon, all those kind of things. They were the ones we were watching, but we didn't have an opportunity to pick up figures of them.
We are lucky because Jada Toys do have the license now for Scooby-Doo, as we saw at the last Comic-Con. So we are hopefully going to see a nice, decent line of Scooby-Doo action figures, like articulated.
Yeah. All right, my next one. And we've had a lot of stuff related to it recently, but at the time of the movie coming out, I do not remember there being a Back to the Future toy line.
No, it wasn't. It was only since NECA.
Yeah.
Did it? I think there were some like static cartoon ones that came out when the cartoon first launched, but but live action things, I don't think they actually existed.
No. You get a lot of Back to the Future merchandise and figures and all that kind of stuff now. But yeah, back in the day when the second film was coming out after the first film's like popularity, how did we not get a whole bunch of action figures?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Go on, Em. What's next?
So for me, I don't remember there being a toy line for this, but back because I would have collected these if there were. Back in the 90s, obviously Addams Family was massive. We had Addams Family and Addams Family Values, and I don't remember there being a single toy for the Addams Family. All the toys I find for Addams Family seem to be based on the more recent cartoon version, but nothing based on the original movies.
No, I don't think there was. No,
But yeah, I'd have been all over that.
I don't remember it. Yeah, I probably could have got behind that. And that's another toy line as well, that they could have then just put different monsters in, different characters, and just really built out that franchise and just capitalized on the fact that they're in that spooky kind of genre and how many different types of character they could have put in.
Well, back in the 90s, they would have probably, because back in the 90s, you got to admit, play sets were king, right? Every kid wanted a Batcave at Christmas, or, you know what I mean? Like, or a Batmobile, or. So, I mean, if they'd have released a play set of the mansion that where you spin, like, you've got the front of the mansion, you spin it round, you got all the different rooms, and they release a line of 7 or 8 action figures. Hey?
Yeah. Like a big doll's house.
Yeah, basically. But
then
they used to make that, didn't they?
Yeah, but you make it like a Master Universe Castle Grayskull with trapdoors and things like that.
Yep.
Like, it would be brilliant. Yeah.
Yep.
Little lights and sounds in the basement for the experiment, like the lab and everything. Yeah, it would have been cool. My next one's a bit of a controversial one.
Ooh.
One of my favorite movies growing up was Highlander.
Ooh.
So the Highlander film coming out in 1986, there was no toys for it, no toys at all. However, and this is why it's controversial, in 94, 95, I think it was, they made the animated series of Highlander.
Yeah.
And we got toys to go with that. But they were a very different look. They were very different. You know, for those of you that haven't seen it, imagine the difference between Star Wars movies and the Clone Wars like animated show. Like, it was a very different style, and I don't know, for me it just didn't tick the box as a Highlander figure. It was a cartoon figure, whereas the design, the character designs and the concept of Highlander as a film really lent itself towards action figures. I think that they
100%.
probably would have topped my action figure favorites as a kid if I had, just because it's swords as well, isn't it? Something cool about swords and all the rest of it.
Swords and sorcery.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that's up there for me.
Cool. The last one on my list, well, I've got two. I've got one more that you know about, but my last one that you don't know about, Battletoads. Do you remember Battletoads?
There was a toy line for that, wasn't there?
Not in the 90s. There is now. All these years later. But back in the 90s, there was not a single figure. Can you believe that we grew up in a time of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mattel and what do you call them? Thingy going mental with all the figure releases. And Battletoads was on SNES and not a single toy came out for it.
No, you're right. On the subject of turtles, one of the other ones on my list was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie line figures that we didn't get, like, because obviously they've done them now, haven't they?
Oh yeah,
the movie style turtles. But why we didn't get those back in the day? And
we did.
if we did we?
Yeah. 90s TMNT movie turtles, because I had the one I said before about it. It had like the realistic skin on it, and it was creepy as hell.
Okay, that toy line obviously just bypassed me, and I had a load of turtles. Turtles is a big thing for me, but I don't remember ever having a movie version of the turtles.
Yeah, they had a bunch of figures because they had the ones that came out for the third movie as well, where you could get them in the samurai gear.
Yeah, let's not talk about the third movie.
Yeah, they had a bunch of the 90s samurai figures, and they had this weird, realistic feeling skin.
Okay, scrap that from my list then. We already had it. I just wasn't fortunate enough to get those.
And if you kept them in the sun, they would warp, and they looked so weird when you woke up the next morning.
Oh, really?
Oh, they were disgusting, mate. They were disgusting because they were like slimy.
Would they shrink back to their original thing, or was that it? Were they done?
No, that a bit like the melty Morbius face. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of realistic then, isn't it? Don't leave your turtle out in the sun because he will melt. Like, you know, it's just teaching kids to look after their animals. Cool. So obviously Guyver would have been top of my list, but I said it earlier because, you know, I wanted to get out of there. But the one other thing that's on my list is the 2012 version of Judge Dredd.
All right, okay.
Or I would even settle for the Stallone Judge Dredd. But the fact that we didn't have Judge Dredd figures
Yeah.
massively produced, I don't understand. I don't understand how we got figures for some really random movies of that period of time. Like you had like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando had a figure. Do you know what I mean? But you look at all the things that we did get figures for. I'm just really shocked that they didn't capitalize on Judge Dredd and the popularity of him in the comic books, and obviously the popularity of the movies of the time. And then again in 2012, when we got a really awesome Carl Urban's Dredd, like I'm really surprised that we didn't get figures for it.
Yeah, Dangerous Tales. Sorry, Dread was one of those films that it didn't get a toy line when the original film came out. It took years for 2000 AD to commission the toys, and then they weren't based on the movies. They were based on the comics, weren't they? If I remember rightly, I think Hasbro make one or something back in the day as well.
Quite possibly. Yeah,
I think I'm sure Hasbro made one back in the day. But yeah, there was like because they had all those really cool games as well when I was growing up, like Dread versus Alien and things like that. Dread versus Death. And it was basically a xenomorph. That would have been awesome to get like an action figure of the xenomorph Dread.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they had Judge Death, and in the comic books you had Judge Death, and there was others as well, but it was basically like the Four Horsemen. But they were awesome looking. I just remember as a kid just thinking they were wicked, like wicked designs. But yeah, to get a toy figure, a toy line or figures of those characters, I wouldn't have even been mad if they'd done the comic book characters and released them at the time that the movie was coming out. Because obviously, when you're a kid, you watch a movie and then you have a figure. You don't pull it apart. You don't kind of critique it, do you?
No, 100%.
So go on. What's top of your list then?
Well, one more that I forgot to tick off. Blood Rain. Do you remember the game Blood Rain?
Yeah.
They never made a single action figure of Blood Rain, and I cannot believe because she surely releasing her to even as statues and stuff, releasing her to young teenage boys surely must have been high on the list. They did it for Tomb Raider, and we all had a Tomb Raider at one point in our lives. I mean, I remember in the 90s when the Angelina Jolie movie came out, I made my mum go to Woolworths and buy me the Angelina Jolie doll. So I mean, because Action Man needed a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? So she was with my Action Men figures for years. But when Blood Rain came out in the 2000s, I cannot believe that they did not commission a single action figure or doll based on her. Even to this day, there's been no, like, they've all been on Etsy, they've all been third party. There's been no official Blood Rain merchandise, which is nuts.
The other one that comes to mind now, and I don't know, I haven't really researched this, so we might have had it, but I didn't see it, was the Underworld franchise.
Yeah, they had a couple of figures, but nothing like a doll line or an action figure line, like properly. They had a few of those, like, do you remember like when McFarlane would make Matrix figures and they'd be static? I think we got a couple of those kind of figures for Underworld. Like, I'm sure they were McFarlane or something.
No, I'm talking about like proper action figures.
Proper action figures, yeah. They never produced them.
Something. Yeah.
Okay. It's only as years have gone by and we've had like I think Hot Toys have produced a Celine at some point. Yeah, but yeah, like I say, a proper action figure line or even a doll line with Celine and stuff with the removable trench coat and stuff would be amazing.
Would be cool. And again, there's some really good characters in that. Some really good character designs, like with the different werewolves and vampires and stuff. Like, yeah, it could have been a really powerful toy line.
Yeah. So top of my list, and I know it did have a few like toys back in the day, but there was never like a cohesive action figure line for Starship Troopers as far as all its popularity. I know there was like Micro Machines, I think, kind of like figures back in the day, if I remember rightly.
Well, that was where I kind of was doing a bit of research, and I was like, oh, there was Starship Trooper figures, there were toys. The Micro Machines were Action Force, I think it was. No, Action Fleet. Action Fleet, and obviously they did the ships and various different little things. But then as I dug down the rabbit hole deeper, there was a company called Galoob that actually did some action figures based on Starship Troopers. And they had like Rico, like Fire Rico or something like that, and then some Bugs as well. But I had never seen it before. It was only me researching it, and I was like, oh, this I've never come across it. So I don't know whether they didn't come over here, and therefore we didn't see them. But there was definitely some action figure type toys for Starship Troopers that just never saw the light of day for most of us.
Yeah, it's like Galoob also did Demolition Man, and like they never reached UK shores and things like that. So it was around that time period where parents were starting to go, okay, these aren't appropriate. After I think Terminator 2 was probably the last toy line for kids, like around the time of like the last action hero. Those were the kind of the last of the action figure kind of adult movies getting toys for kids, and then things started changing. It's like by the time Starship Troopers and Demolition Man and that came out in like the late 90s, I think parents were a little bit more, savvy in the UK, and I don't think we got them. But yeah, there was a toy line of action figures by Galoob for Starship Troopers, but they didn't have the likeness. They just looked awful.
No. But again, going back to being a kid, the Terminator figures. Terminator figures didn't have the likeness. Like they, for the most part, they didn't even get the costumes really 100% accurate. But you didn't care as a kid. You were kind of like, this is my T2, my T800 or whatever. This is my Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look, his face pops up when I push this button.
So because of the popularity of Starship Troopers, there was I don't know who the company was, but there was basically a line of toys in the very late 90s, early 2000s that were called Star Troopers. Not Starship Troopers, just Star Troopers. Wow. And they were like those G.I. Joe kind of like core, like action figures, like the, what do you call them, the O-ring style figures?
Yeah.
They were like those, basically, and they didn't have a license, and they were just making up aliens and calling them bugs, and basically giving you like a Marine versus like the bug.
That style of figure would have worked really well with Starship Troopers, because you can, if you scale it down to like 3 3/4 inch, all of a sudden you can make the warrior bugs, for example, like the big spidery looking ones. If you had a 3 3/4 inch figure, that's not going to be much bigger than a kind of a 6-inch figure packaging wise. So and I just think that with the popularity of like things like the Jurassic Park line from Kenner, the Batman line from Kenner, just Starship Troopers seemed like a really obvious progression to move on to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, you gotta say it's the most quotable movie of all time. I'm really surprised even to this day we've not had like someone hasn't picked up a license to make collectibles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there should be. And like you say, there are third-party companies out there producing things. I know you can get a 1/6 scale Rico figure. I know that you can get some of these Galoob figures as well. But yeah, I agree with you. Completely agree with you. As a kid, I would have eaten that up. I really would have eaten that up. So, and that was 97. So it wasn't even kind of like years and years and years ago. It's one of the newer ones out of the ones that we've talked about.
Yeah, so Galoob apparently was sold to Hasbro. Apparently Hasbro owns all the rights to these now.
Oh, right, okay. So Hasbro might be able to do us a Demolition Man and a Johnny Rico.
Yeah, because they own the rights to, like, they had, at the time of closure, they had the A-Team, they had Babylon 5, they had Biker Mice from Mars, Defenders of the Earth. They had lots of franchises under their belt when they went under. Golden Girls.
Which we've had figures
of. My God.
Wow. There we go.
That's crazy.
Okay, so different lists though. Different lists. So yeah, mine were Guyver, Back to the Future, Spaceballs, Goonies, Starship Troopers, Highlander the movie, with the potential addition of 2012's Dread, Ninja Turtles, and something else, but I'll remember at some point.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed that. That was fun. That was a little nostalgia hit.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I do want to put out there before we kind of end the show tonight. So we are on the cusp of October. October is coming, and it's a big month because obviously it's spooky season. We've got Halloween stuff that we got to kind of try to put in place, and do some kind of like Halloween-esque shows. But the other thing for me with October is MCM Comic Con. So MCM Comic Con is coming on the 25th to the 27th of October at XL.
Yeah.
I'm going down there. I've got a whole bunch of kind of filming that I've got lined up already for things, but I would be curious because I'm feeling a little bit risque, if that's the right word, for lack of a better word.
Ooh.
I kind of want some challenges to do. I want to see how out there people can come with some challenges.
Have we lost Jacob or have we lost me? Is it me or is it Jacob that's crashed? I can't tell. My timer's still moving, so I've not froze. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. I can't tell if we're even still live anymore. Oh no. Someone please comment if I am still here and Jacob's not. My timer's still moving, so I think I'm still live. Oh no. What's happened? Oh no, he's gone! I am all alone. I have command. It is mine now. This is now my show. I'm still here. Hello. Yay! SuperSorrell running the show. It's my show now. Uh-oh. Jacob wanted to get risque, and apparently the internet didn't like that and decided to crash him out. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. The best part is, people, I can't end the show because Jacob's got control. Here he is, he's back! Yes!
I don't even know what happened.
I have no idea. You said you literally went like this. I want to do challenges and see if people can get risque with me, and then all of a sudden it went bang.
Shut down.
The internet has spoken. It said no.
So basically, what I was getting at was that
Your mic's not on, by the way.
What?
I can hear you, but you sound a million miles away. Your microphone's not turned on.
All right, I'm not even going to play with it.
Yeah,
Near the end,
don't worry.
I'll leave it as it is. Can you hear me all right though?
Yeah. I can hear you. You just sound a mile away. But yeah, it's fine.
Everything just shut down. It is raining here, so I don't know whether I've had some kind of.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I'm going to MCM Comic Con at the end of October. And I'm just kind of like, I've got a few things lined up that I'm going to be doing and things that I'm going to be looking for and obtaining and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking if there's any challenges, if there's anything that like anybody that watches us wants to put out there as a try to find this collectible or try to find somebody cosplay or something like that, like just to give me some kind of...
Nope, he's gone again. The internet does not want challenges.
There we go. We're back again.
Ooh,
We're back.
You're back. Yeah, you're back. Just
so there we go. So that's kind of my idea. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So just to clarify, I would definitely put stipulations on this because the internet is an awful place. You want to do challenges based around toys.
Yes.
And toy hunting. Because, I can imagine Shelley's about to come out with, you're going to go to Comic-Con dressed as the Goblin King. And
not stuff like that. I mean, like, I'm going to be like looking for stuff. I'm going to be seeing what I can pick up. I'm going to be speaking to some different cosplay people and stuff like. So if there's anything that anybody wants to kind of put out there, just let me know by DMing me or something like that. But
cool.
Yeah, I'm well up for it.
Yeah. Because not only do we have MCM Comic Con, but there's also New York Comic Con. Hasbro does their 10/27 in October. So there's a lot of announcements coming our way over the next couple of weeks. And October's the big announcement season for toys for Christmas. The toys will come out this month, ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
So October's going to be a very busy month.
It is going to be a very busy month for toys and stuff like that. I think we're going to need to... no, he's going as Robin. Shelley said. Because Batman and Robin. Okay, I get you.
Yeah, because last week Shelley was fantasizing about you as being the Boy Wonder now, apparently.
Well, people have said before. No, Yeah, I don't know, just whether it's because obviously when you go to things like Comic Cons and stuff, you're very much kind of looking for the stuff that you look for, and you know there are certain comic books, there are certain trading cards, there are certain action figures that obviously I'm going to be on the look for, but because I'll be so kind of pigeonholed looking for those things, I might be looking past other things. So yeah, if there's anyone that isn't able to go to MCM Comic Con and kind of wants to live out their toy hunt or their comic book hunt through me, let me know and I'll see if I can kind of rise to the challenge and find something and purchase it and add it to my collection. Who knows?
Ooh.
Feeling a bit out there. Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good.
You should definitely try and do a live toy hunt while you're out there.
You know what? I might do, but the internet there is rubbish.
Yeah, it's diabolical at the MCM.
Like when I was doing like the Hasbro stuff and that, and kind of like they show all the stuff off in the cabinets and that, I done a number of different live videos, and it's just so laggy, and it's quicker to video it and upload it than try to do it live.
Yeah.
So
just the thing, I was looking at potentially coming down for the MCM because the Foundation of Saint Catherine have rooms available.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they're in Docklands, which isn't far. And it's basically, I think I've told you last time, haven't I? I think I've told you this story before. I got invited down about 4 years ago to MCM to do an interview with Miss Mindy about Disney and animation and stuff like that. And I got put up at this place called the Foundation of Saint Catherine. I thought, ooh, that sounds posh. It was a nunnery, right? It was a church. It was the weirdest experience of my life. It was a Catholic retreat for religion, right? And
mad.
they had a cabinet in the reception where you could buy sacramental wine. I wasn't using it for sacramental purposes, but I will admit it was very tasty.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But yeah, they've got rooms available and they're only like 60 quid a night. So I'm potentially going to come down, hopefully.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll keep you all posted.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going on a mad hunt and whatnot. I'm going down with one of my oldest friends. Like we've known each other since we were like in our teens, and she hasn't been to Comic-Con before, and she's pretty much, we're the same. We're very, very similar. So we're just going on like a mad hunt and just going out there.
Mate,
and just...
Are you cheating on Ryan?
Oh, me and Zoe, me and Ryan. Me and Ryan are like new friends compared to me and Zoe. Like, yeah. Zoe knows things about me that like nobody knows about me. Like, we've been friends that long that we're best. But yeah, so we're going down there. But it'd be cool if you're there. Like we'll see. Like if you do end up shacking up at your nunnery, like that'd be quite cool.
It was like, if I remember rightly, it was like a 10-minute Uber ride to the venue.
It's what?
So it's like a 10-minute Uber ride to the venue. It wasn't far at all. It was like under the bridge.
Yeah, Docklands ain't far from it. But yeah, I room now at the nunnery. I maybe not even at MCM Comic Con time. Maybe just for the sake of getting a room at the nunnery to see what that's all about.
Mate, it was so weird last time. There's no TVs in the rooms because it's like a retreat. It's meant to be like a religious retreat. So there's no TVs in the rooms. It's very basic, but that's why it's 60 quid a night. But in the middle of, you're in central London in Docklands, really. You're in the middle of London, and you can see the Thames and stuff from where you are. And it's literally like 60 quid a night, so you cannot go wrong.
That's madness. That really is. That's crazy. That's cool. All right, so we're getting to the end of the show now. Anyway, internet's been our friend. Anyway, I'm glad that all back up and like that. But yeah, if you have got any challenges or any ideas, then let me know. Drop us a DM or comment on the video or whatever. But next week, let's give one last little plug out to next week's show. So it's going to be episode 72, which is a big number. Steve Evans is coming back as our guest, which will make him the longest standing guest of Geek Week, won't it?
Oh yeah.
His fourth appearance on our show, which is great. I think this is his first appearance this year. No, he did come on this year, didn't he?
Let's have a look. I'm gonna have a quick look. I'm gonna put Evans in. This is his fourth show with us.
Yeah. That's cool. That is cool. And we're just going to talk toys. So just for just for the sake of transparency, we are going to talk about everything. We're not having him on to specify about a particular brand or a particular lineup or anything, what's coming out or anything like that. This is a geek out and talking toys. Like if you actually look at Steve's collection, like Steve Evans, like his kind of collection is elements of his childhood, everything from Sesame to Superman, you know, like it's all in that collection.
His Smurfs collection is unreal.
That's unbelievable. He did a really good video. He did a live video recently, and it was about 2.5 hours long, where he just went through everything in his collection.
Wow.
Good. And also for me, talking about collections, I'm really excited because all of this behind me is moving. I'm picking up and moving into a different room, so I'm kind of revamping I'm doing a SuperSorrell from 2023 and revamping. So yeah, it's all going to look a little bit different.
Exciting times.
Everyone that's come in, tuned in, joined in, dropped comments, all that kind of stuff, thank you very much. We do appreciate you. It's been quite a good show this week. I'm now kind of sitting here really wishing that we had all of those franchises. Is this
your audio is like dying.
Is it going? Right. I'm going to shout. Thank you for tuning in this week. This has been the Geek Week with me, Jake Toys and SuperSorrell. If you're watching us on Catch Up, what do they put in the chat?
Hashtag Catch Up Crew.
Fantastic. We will be back next week with Mr. Steve Evans. So do tune in, same time, same place, all that kind of stuff. Until then, as always, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk